You want to see a magic trick? I'm going to teach you everything you've already learned in the last 5 hours of watching YouTube videos in just 5 minutes. You ready? I want you to remember every piece of content that's like this or is like a podcast or whatever that you watched it to intend to learn something to improve your life. And I want you to take that and write something down that you've learned. And I want you to write something down that you're going to change about your behavior. You see, you didn't actually need another 5 hours worth of content to learn more stuff because it was already in your head. You just hadn't actually learned from it because you hadn't applied the stuff you had learned. You're consuming, but you're not digesting, which is the difficult part that everyone struggles with. You think you're consuming good content, healthy content, but you're not digesting it. So it's all just coming out the other end. So you might as well just consume junk, just get to scrolling on TikTok, bro. Like, come on. As someone who used to be really bad at this, I'm going to give you some advice, but you may be better off not listening to my advice, turning off this video, closing the app, putting down your phone, and just attempting it. You know, sometimes you don't need to consume more, you need to use discipline. So I'll leave that up to you. You can always come back to this video. I used to be like you probably used to be, or like you are right now. I used to just scroll. Anytime I can hear my thoughts, whip out the phone, whip open muscle memory to Instagram Reels, have a cheeky scroll, get the thumb workout in. I was consuming junk food all day in any little break I could get, and it was terrible. But everything changed one fateful day when I applied online to be a Domino's delivery driver and got the job the same day. And I started delivery driving, and as I was doing this, you know, throughout the coming months, I got sick of listening to music, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to some podcasts that may actually like improve my life. You know, I'm gonna be driving around, might as well add in some extra productive stuff too, right? And that's when I started to get into this stuff, and I started watching more and more content that was like educational, would improve my life. Self-improvement, if you want to call it, but there's so much within self-improvement that I don't really want to give it that label. And I kept watching this, and now I slowly began to transition from scrolling, watching YouTube, to only consuming stuff that I thought was improving my life. Stuff on discipline, stuff on health, stuff on how to start a business, crypto, you name it. Some of it was cringe, some of it I still watch, but it became something I did whenever I was eating, whenever I was, you know, driving somewhere, whenever I was delivery driving. Even if it was just like a 5-minute drive, I would chuck on a podcast. Even if it was a 10-minute meal, chuck on a YouTube video. And it became a little bit excessive. So now I was consuming healthy food. You would think that would be good, but I wasn't digesting it, just like some of you guys may not be. Maybe you're better than me. I would watch these videos, and because I was driving somewhere or I was eating or anything, I didn't take any notes. I was just listening, right? But I remembered some of the stuff, but I didn't really take action much because that's hard. That's a lot of effort. You know, you hear stuff and you're like, yes, I should do that. I should definitely apply that. You even might plan to apply it. You might say how you're going to do it. Maybe you'll even take the step in applying it, and then you'll just get lazy over time. But either way, no matter what kind of path you go on, a lot of the time I used to, and maybe you do, we tend to just slack off. We don't apply everything that they're telling us in these videos. And that is why I was not digesting it. I was consuming it. I wasn't digesting it. So I wasn't learning. Well, I was learning a little bit because I would occasionally change stuff, but I wasn't learning at the rate that I could have been. But after a few months of this, like many months in fact, I started to listen to the advice that was saying, stop consuming so much content. You know, videos like this, probably better than this video, but videos like this. And I started to listen to them. Rarely I digested this little bit. And I decided, you know what, I need to cut back. This has gone too far. So I cut back gradually. So I went from consuming complete junk to consuming healthy stuff but not digesting it, to now digesting the healthy stuff I consume. And as a result, when you're digesting it, you don't consume as much to begin with. So I consumed a lot less. And that's where I am now. You know, I'll show my weekly screen time. I hope this week wasn't too bad, but we'll see. and it's not perfect, but it is a lot better. And what have I been able to do with all this extra time and with all this extra stuff I've been actually digesting? Well, when you watch self-improvement content or any kind of content that promises that you're going to gain something from it. So this video, what did this say? It said you consumed enough. That's kind of saying like you're going to gain something from this. Other videos might be more obvious, like all my other videos. They say like, you know, you'll make friends after watching this video, stuff like that. When you consume that stuff over like the space of like a month or a couple months, and you don't see the rewards that you're consistently promised every time you're consuming this, it starts to make you feel a little bit bad. On top of that, a lot of creators make you feel bad because that's an easy way to get people to watch, is you tell them that they're not doing something right. All this stuff makes you feel less happy when you're not improving. So when you consume stuff that tells you to improve and you don't improve that much because you're not digesting it, you don't improve. So this is one thing. When I stopped consuming without digesting, this is one thing that improved for me. Another thing was I had more time because I wasn't spending as much time mindlessly consuming. So I would spend this time, you know, while eating. Now I text people or I just eat. And that's fun because I can enjoy the food. I can enjoy texting people more often. That's a fun thing to do. Get closer relationships as well. And what else? I wrote some stuff down. Let me see. I also just do like basic stuff like booking in the dentist or whatever. So I end up saving time. And with this time where I'm just sitting there, sometimes I can reflect. That allows me to feel more proud of myself because I can reflect on everything I've done. Allows me to be in the moment, which allows me to feel grateful. So overall, I'm happier in that regard as well. So it's got some benefits, which I'm sure you are aware of, but just had to point out them. So self-improvement, consuming stuff you think will improve your life, does have benefits even when you're not really digesting it, even when it's just in the background. But the benefits are minor. So when I started down this route as a delivery driver, my life did start to change. I think it got better. I like myself, who I am now, more than when I was before a delivery driver. Best job I've ever had. But I could have been an even better person if I had started to learn faster, because I'd actually be paying attention to this stuff. I'd be learning from each video by taking notes, changing my behavior, using discipline. But I didn't do that. So I learned slower, and I regret that. Another thing was I would have been happier in the process of learning. So not only would I have maybe learnt like, I would have got maybe 90% more from every video. I would have unlocked the extra 90%. That means I would improve 10 times faster. So instead of taking 50 years to get somewhere, it would have taken 5 years. And I would have been happier in the process of that because, as I mentioned before, when I stopped consuming so much, I became happier. So how do you actually digest the stuff you're consuming? I mentioned this right at the start when I was doing my little magic trick. I said that you have to take notes on every video. This is what I do. After a video, I take notes on the stuff that I actually want to apply. So I don't sit there with a notepad. I just actually think about how I'm going to relate this to my life. And then I write the stuff down that I think is important. And not every video is actually going to improve your life. Like maybe only 50% of the videos around that mark are actually relevant, right? Because you don't know when you're clicking on them if they're actually going to be helpful. You just click. So don't worry if you can't write down like a note for every single video about something you're going to improve in your life, because you can't always do that. What you can do though is with those bad videos, if you get halfway through, just like notice, hey, this isn't actually that helpful. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to stop watching this video. You can do that. When it does come to those videos that are helping you, you'll probably notice like what you need to change about your life. You'll probably notice. So for example, I listened to like a 2-hour podcast with Brian Johnson, a health guy, like 2 days ago. And I realized that I need to take more seriously my habit of turning off my overhead light before bed and just having a darker one. Doesn't matter whether you agree with that or not, but the point is, I learned something. And I also wrote something else down. I should be able to remember this because that proves that I'm actually learning. I was gonna have a look at some of the stuff I'm eating and seeing if it's like really processed and unhealthy. And I was gonna cut out that stuff. It's nothing crazy, you know, it's only one podcast, but I did actually learn from it. I didn't just watch it and then continue to go about my life. So I have change stuff. Like if you look at what I'm doing every day, it is slightly different to what I was doing before that podcast. Therefore, I have learned from it. When you take notes and apply this stuff, you'll find that you don't need to watch as many videos because you're still busy applying this stuff. Like I said, I've written down that I need to have a look at my diet. That means that I've already got like a 30-minute task that I need to do. So that's like next on my list, right? So I don't need to consume anything more until I've done that. A lot of it takes discipline, and you may also need to improve your attention span as well. I don't say that you need to meditate or anything. You can improve your attention span just by, when you feel the need to get out one of these videos, just don't. And with all that extra time you have, I don't care what you do it. You can scroll if you want. Like, honestly, actually applying the stuff you're learning from the self-improvement stuff or whatever, and then scrolling in the rest of your time is better, if you ask me, than only spending your time watching like useful, healthy stuff, but then not applying it properly. Do whatever you want. If you want to work harder, go for it. If you want to just sit and watch Netflix, go for it. But if you're really struggling, like I kind of do, and especially did in the past, to have the discipline to apply the stuff you're learning, to take notes, to not just let yourself passively consume, do this. You remember that old like thing your teachers used to do? It might have just been mine. They're like, stop, look, and listen in primary school. You can apply this to that. Whenever you feel like you're making a mistake or like you're not doing what you want to do, you're struggling discipline-wise, you stop. You take a breath, you put down the phone for a second. Then you look. You don't look around, no, you're not using your eyes. You look at yourself. You look, am I where I want to be? Am I going towards where I want to be? Is this decision I'm making or this action I'm taking in line with what I want? And then you listen. You listen not around to the environment, you listen to yourself. You listen to the voice that is telling you to not put stuff off, the voice that is telling you what you really want, not the voice that is telling you, oh, just do it. You know, the weak voice, the procrastination voice. Listen to the good voice. So when you're kind of messing up, you're not using discipline, you're going on a train that is going the wrong way, the way that you don't want to go. When you stop, you get off that train. When you look, you see the train that you should be on, and you get motivated to go towards that train. And when you listen, that helps you actually go to the new train and get on. So when you're trying to consume less, digest more, remember to stop, look, and listen. Now, shoot, get out of here. Go do stuff. Go write down what you've learned from this video, and good luck with it all.